May I ask anyone who is willing to serve as our reporter, not clerk pro tem, just the reporter for this evening? Anyone? Hearing none, then I will ask another subject, and that is when it's time for public comments, if one of you would serve to do this kind of thing. It's very difficult for me, not maybe for others, but for me, it is very difficult to record, take attendance, take whatever is needed, and still conduct the meeting. When it's time for public comment, may I count on any trustee just to keep the time? Thank you, Dr. Winston, for agreeing to keep the time. And again, I will be doing my very best to record the minutes with all of the little technology devices that I have. Can you hear me? Probably not, because I haven't turned on. Can you hear me well? Okay, I'm going to say again, good evening, and it is 7:05, and I will be calling the meeting of the Committee of the Whole meeting to order at 7:05. Know that immediately following the Committee of the Whole meeting, we will be conducting a special board meeting, and we'll talk about that a little later. The next thing on the agenda is to call roll, and that's what I'll do at this point. Burns? Here. Johnson? Here. Jones? Absent without notice at this point. Sauk? Here. Sterling? Present. Winston? Here. Having called the roll, I can establish that we have a quorum, and we will proceed accordingly. Generally, I ask for a motion for whatever to adopt the agenda as presented, but usually that's only at board meetings, and this is a Committee of the Whole meeting, so that's why it's different. We're going to move into discussions and presentations, and under 2A, our village engineer, Melanie Arnold, will come before us as she reviewed IDOT 2026 motor fuel tax, parentheses, MFT documents, including a resolution for the maintenance, the estimate of maintenance costs, and the maintenance engineering agreement. In your packets that I presented to you on Friday, you have all of the documents for which she will be communicating with us, and they should all be in the exact order as this meeting will transpire. Melanie Arnold, I will. I am.
You all should make the motion to move
Thank you. I didn't think I needed to do that by saying that I was recording, but at any point, thank you, sir. You see why we always need you here, whether you're asked to be here or not. You are key to our organization, so thank you for being here at this point. May I have a motion to appoint the mayor as the clerk pro tem? It's been moved by Trustee Sauk. May I have a second? Second. It's been moved by Trustee Sauk, seconded by, I believe, Dr. Winston. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, then I will call the roll. Please respond. Clerk pro temp. Trustee Burns?
Here.
No, you've done that. We're asking for me to take notes, to be the the clerk pro temp, to record the minutes. You have to, if we do not have a clerk, and I am recording the minutes, our attorney just stated that I must do so. So, let's... I'd rather take a consensus rather than the individual. All in favor of me recording because no one stepped to the plate to do so? Can you say aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? There are no nays, so I will officiate the meeting and I will record the meeting notes. Let's move forward. Melanie, please. Yes, ma'am. A resolution for... No. Her resolutions on the front end, as we've been saying for a number of years, her resolution on the front end does not look like our regular resolutions, but after next week or after today, once it's approved, then we will put the cover on and the number that we would normally do as Melanie presents her resolutions. The resolution that she has right now is for the organization, for our records, and for continuity of our personal records. We put the cover on, okay? That's the only thing that's missing. Please proceed.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Board of Trustees, and residents of Sauk Village. So tonight I come before you to talk briefly about the resolution of maintenance for the IDOT 2026 MFT program for the Village of Sauk Village. I submitted 3 documents for your review, and I just wanted to go through them very briefly. And as the mayor said, so this resolution is different than what you would typically see from the village because it is an IDOT form, IDOT BLR form 14220. That you just fill out and is signed and sealed by the village after the resolution has been voted upon, and this is what we submit to IDOT each year. And so the resolution is the primary document, and then the estimate of maintenance costs, and then the maintenance engineering to be performed by a consulting engineer are both backup documents that are reflected in the resolution for BLR 14220. So this is the main resolution. The other 2 are just backup supporting documents that are how you get to this number that we're putting in the resolution. So basically, I just want to go through really quick. The resolution is based on the estimate of maintenance costs, which is the second document. The estimate at this point is just that. It's an estimate on what the village plans to spend their MFT dollars on during the calendar year, and it all has to be related to roadway maintenance, improvement, or repair. At the end of the calendar year, after the calendar year is completed, I will complete. It's actually this exact same document, but there's a tab that changes to the final expenditure statement, but this is still the basis of the statement. And then I take the MFT ledger and I replace the costs, the estimate of costs, with what was actually spent, and then that becomes our final expenditure cost, and then that's submitted at the end, early next year as we close out the MFT for year 2026. And so the goal is to have this resolution, the dollar amount, to be a little conservative and be slightly higher than what we expect the final expenditures to be. Because if it's higher, if the final expenditures are above this resolution number, we would have to come back to you next year and reauthorize a resolution. If it falls under this resolution number, then we're good to go. We just submit all the closeout paperwork and we're closed out with IDOT. The estimate of maintenance costs is based on previous year's MFT expenditures. I sat down with Anthony Finch and our previous village public works director earlier this year. We looked at the MFT ledgers from the past previous years, and so that's how we came up with the majority of these numbers. The costs that are included on this are associated with electricity for street lighting, traffic signals and traffic signal repair, material costs including salt, asphalt for pothole patching, concrete for concrete repair and traffic signs, and then costs associated with the work required to do the patching and the repairs. Also included in this year's MFT estimate is a line item, it would be line item under item 2, street maintenance. It's roadway resurfacing, and that is $750,000 for a roadway resurfacing project to be completed this year. The streets that we would be using this money to resurface approximately 6,000 feet of roadway in Sauk Village. The streets were based on the village's 2019 pavement condition index map, which was previously prepared by CMAP, and then just driving the streets and checking out the existing roadway conditions. The streets that we have tentatively selected were 218th Street from Orion to Merrill, 217th Street from 216th Street to Merrill, Orion Avenue from Sauk Trail to 215th Place, South Brook Drive and the adjacent cul-de-sac, and then East Brook Drive would receive patch only. Of course.
Can we let her finish and then you ask questions?
I'm sorry, I'm just about done. And then the last line item was $25,000 that was been included for LED upgrades to streetlights, which would be a joint venture project with ComEd. I'm currently working with IDOT to make sure that this is an MFT eligible cost, because there's very strict guidelines as to what is and what is not MFT eligible costs. If it's not, I should have that answer in the next couple days. If it's not, then I will remove that line item, which is under item 6, street lighting, from the final resolution, and then the total cost of the MFT dollars to be spent would be reduced by $25,000. And then the maintenance engineering agreement is just the third document. It's just based on IDOT required fees for the various maintenance engineering categories, and so that's just kind of a plug and chug formula that you add into the engineering costs on sheet 2. And so what we were requesting, we were saying that the total maintenance for all work would be $1,022,815, and so on the resolution I stated it would be $1,025,000. And I'm available to answer any questions anyone might have.
Before I entertain your questions, on the resolution, it does have $1,025,000.
Mm-hmm.
You're asking for a different amount now for it to
No, I'm sorry. The total on the estimate of maintenance cost, the actual number that we came up with was $1,022,815. But then just to be a little conservative, I bumped that number up on the resolution to $1,025,000.
Okay.
$1,025,000.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's what we will be asking.
Yes.
At the board meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
And like I said, this is the estimate of what we would expect to spend MFT dollars on. And that's all it is at this point, is an estimate.
Thank you very much for that report. I will entertain your questions, and I understand that Trustee Burns expressed the need for something to be clarified.
Thank you. Melanie, I noticed the streets that you were speaking of. I know the last time we had a conversation about streets that we were going to continue the 219th block. I think you did from Orion to Merrill, and now it's really, really bad from that point on.
Yes, and that Merrill is going to be resurfaced. That is under that's under your IDOT. The village received $3.3 million in funding for an IDOT BLR grant, So that work, we're in the design stages of that. So Merrill Avenue will be, I think the
219?
yes.
219. From Narrow to Jeffrey, 219?
I would have to look to see, it's on the back there, the streets that are included in that grant. I'm sorry, I know Merrill Avenue is included, the south, like down by where the water main replacement just occurred.
We're over here where the Marathon gas
Oh,
station.
yes, you're talking, so we have the CDBG application submitted for that roadway, but we won't hear back from that until probably July of this year.
Okay, the other question is, what method do you choose when streets get done
So
over others?
we basically, I sat down with the mayor and the administrator, and we looked at, like I said, CMAP. We have a document that was prepared by CMAP back in 2019 that gave a roadway condition assessment of all the streets in the village. So at this point, it's 7 years old, but there was and I could get you a copy of that if you'd like. It showed the condition of the roadway, and it was good, fair, poor, serious, failed. And so we looked at this, like the streets that were basically in the serious condition. I mean, there's really not many streets that show as failed. So serious is the worst consideration that we were looking at. So we looked at all the serious streets, and it was serious as of 7 years ago. So they haven't gotten any better. And then we actually went out and drove some of those streets. And I mean, to be honest, the village could use, 10 times this amount to actually do street repairs, but you don't have that much in your MFT account. So we just kind of prioritize streets based on driving around and then looking at the pavement map condition.
And may I add, that particular grant, if I'm not mistaken, allocated, 600 or 6,000 footage, and
yes.
you mapped that
Yes.
through one of your systems to make certain that we stayed within the required.
Yes. So just based on estimates of other roadway projects that we've done this year, for $750,000, you can get about 6,000 feet of roadway. So we just drove streets until we hit this, about 6,000 feet, and then we, I think, added one more just in case we, have a little bit additional funding. But that's how we came up with those streets.
Okay, so as of right now, we have 3 different grant opportunities to do road work. So we have our MFT,
Which is currently, the MFT, which we're talking about tonight.
which we're talking about today, which is $1,025,000. We also have our CBD grant.
The CDBG grant that's has been submitted to Cook County, is being reviewed right now.
Okay, and then there's another CBDG grant.
Then we have one more IDOT Bureau of Local Roads grant that the village has received, and that work I could go grab that from the back of there.
You may do so. So there are 3 separate grants that's working on roadway. I think the major takeaway is one of them that's providing us funds is the MFT. The other one that we're applying for that is not 100% committed to is CDBG. And then the last one that has been, we have qualified for it, is IDOT. So 2 for certain, the third one to be entertained. She's sharing with you the map that's been out there now for about 3 or 4 months in terms of the scope of work that we're looking at, in terms of overall road repairs. Melanie, can you look at it again and share with us the orange opposed to the blue markings?
Oh, sure. So the really, it doesn't really mean anything to the village. Just they were 2. We had submitted 5 grant applications for this grant, and they were separated by dollar amounts, and so the orange streets were grouped as one grant application, and the blue streets were grouped as another application. And those were, I think, the 2 applications that were selected. So
that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4 streets? Four streets.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Oh,
8 streets.
okay, so it's-
Mhm.
Is that from corner to corner? Or like Orion, just from Orion to Merrill, then you go with elsewhere? Because they all look short.
They might look short, but I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but I could get them for you. But they equate to, I mean, the total cost is, I think it was up, I mean, because design engineering and construction engineering included in that, but it was up, this amount of improvements was up around $2 million.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes. I will say though that these yes. However, I will say that that also includes all design, engineering, construction engineering fees are built into that, and this includes a lot more. The MFT program is going to be more resurfacing, just like milling and overlay of asphalt, and not really a lot of additional concrete curbing or anything like that, just focusing primarily on asphalt resurfacing. These are going to be more in-depth, like reconstructions with more sidewalk, curb repair, drainage improvements, things like that. You're welcome.
Any other questions for Melanie? Yes, Dr. Winston.
For number 6, street lightings for the LED upgrade and the ComEd, I just wanted to make sure I understood you correctly. So ComEd will be contributing, if possible, according to the grant criteria?
So I have to be honest, this line item I had talked, this is, Anthony would be the person who would be able to give you the information on that. I just know that when we were working on putting this together, he asked that we add this line item because I guess there is a grant opportunity with ComEd where they work together to replace existing street lighting with LED lighting. And so that was, you know, he was saying that, you know, he wanted to maximize the amount of MFT dollars we could use, which would be, there's a $25,000, you had changes and you have to go out for competitive bids. And to be honest, I'm really not sure how that would play in with the ComEd grant. So we said we'll put the $24,950 because that you would not need, you know, that would just be village funds. But like I said, that is the one line item that I'm trying to work through with IDOT right now to make sure that that would be an MFT eligible cost, because like I said, they're very particular about what you can and can't use MFT dollars for. And if you chose to just take it out of MFT and you come back, you're audited. I mean, it could be 10 years from now, you could be audited and they would say, oh, that was not eligible, and you have to pay back your funds. So I wanted to put that in for the committee of the whole meeting discussion tonight, but when you see this final resolution, that line item may be gone. I'll have clarification in the next couple days from IDOT on that.
Okay, given what you just said, that you're going to have to do further research and confirmation, we had intended, if I'm not mistaken, put that on the special board meeting that we were having tonight. Shall we remove that?
I would say it might be, I mean, I guess the bottom line is you could still keep it in, because if you kept it in and it turns out that the 25,000 can't be used, then this is just going to be a high number. And I mean, because the final expenditure is going to be what the final expenditure is. This is just an estimate. So we could easily just remove that line item between now and the final. So you could, if you were going to approve this tonight, you could go ahead and do that with this $1,025,000, and instead of just, it would just be $25,000. It would be very conservative instead of slightly conservative.
Okay, trustees, I'm going to ask that you remember that, what you just stated, when this will come up, this item come up.
It would definitely be better to keep this in than, vote on this as is, or, not have this in, vote on it, and then add it in after the fact.
Okay. Any other questions or comments of our Hearing none, Melanie, thank you so much for being here with us.
You're welcome.
And giving us your presentation. We truly appreciate it.
And so this would be on the board meeting that's going, or the special board meeting that's going to happen next, or for the next board meeting in next week?
It would be next week.
Okay, great.
Okay, so that bid is going to give you time.
That will give me, yep, I'll
To
get
confirm.
clarification by that point of time
Okay.
for you. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. While she's preparing to exit her seat, I would like to share with you, Melanie, one other thing. The ink pen.
Oh, yes.
We acted on your recommendation. Thank you very much. But as she's exiting, I am going to ask Trustee Dr. Winston and our interim director, Director McMillan, to come. Well, I guess Trustee Winston, you can stay where you're seating, or do you want to take this center seat as well? We'll just ask McMillan to come forward. Both of them are listed under these items simply because it was requested by Dr. Winston, but then also previously requested by Macmillan as well as Mr. Finch. And we are talking 4 or 5 months ago when they gave us the documents, but we took care of making new copies for you. That was put in your mailboxes on Friday. Please give me a minute. I see you. Thank you. This past Friday, I know that a number of you did not receive your packets before today, but both documents are pretty extensive. And so I am going to ask that Trustee Dr. Winston and the Director McMillan give us what you can at this point and your desire for us at this point, but know that we also have a very important special board meeting coming forward. And as I said, I know that a number of trustees did not pick up their packets on Friday, so there may not be a lot of readiness as was requested 5 or 6 months ago, but give us your charge and directions at this point so we can decide how to move forward. I'm not certain which one of you will begin. I think that we have to start with the presentation before we can start with questions.
Well, I think we need to ask this question before this presentation.
What is the question, ma'am?
So the question is, you're explaining that someone requested and signed off on what the team, Dr. Winston and Mr. McMillan and Mr. Finch. Can you explain to me what you were talking about?
I'm not understanding how you began your question because no one
That's what I was trying to do.
No, you did, but no one signed off on anything.
Okay, can you explain?
Excuse me, I'm trying to explain. Let me explain before you continue to ask. Okay, we had a request of when we were going to finally bring back to the table the financial policy and procedure. A trustee asked that question. Then our interim director, who's been asking for this to have some finalization and some resolve, we decided it's time to at least bring it back to the awareness of the trustees, just in case it fell off of your radar, simply because we must adopt some type of policy and procedures and to also look at our procurement policy. And as it said under B, as previously presented. This has been presented previously. It's just that it's dropped from our radar. And now we're bringing it back to your attention. And I prefaced bringing this before you this evening stating that I know that we can't go through both of these deep packages in its entirety tonight, but I'm really hoping is that the presenters can and will impress upon all of us, including me, the importance of giving two major documents the necessary attention and credence that it's needed in order for us to move forward. So now, can we move forward just to hear what they're saying and not dwell on what the process
Excuse
was?
me, Mayor. Thank you so much. I appreciate that explanation. But my question was this. You said that Dr. Winston is a part of the financial team.
I did not say that.
Well,
I did not say
so I'm
that.
asking.
I did not say
So
that.
that's what I'm
Let's
trying-
acknowledge
Check.
that I did not say that, Trustee Burns.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get an
I
understanding
did not
of.
say that.
Okay, that's fine, but I'm getting an understanding who's a part of this team.
I did not say that it was a team.
Well, who's a
Okay,
part of?
Let's do this.
Mayor, please, I'm just
Okay,
asking
and
a
I'm
question.
saying,
Who is a
Trustee,
part?
please.
Who's the
Let-
part?
Okay.
Who's a
right
part
now,
of?
for the sake of this
It's Dr.
discussion
Winston.
this
It's
evening,
Dr.
for
Winston.
the discussion of this evening,
Mayor,
let's hear
it's
what they're
Dr.
saying. And we're going to
Is
start with you,
Dr.
Mr. McMillan.
Is Dr.
We're going to start with you.
I want to know what Dr. Winston is speaking in an administrative format. Only time we can speak dealing with the trustees, dealing with the administration is through our committees.
We don't have committees. Trustee,
Exactly.
and you
So
know that.
therefore,
so we also know
we
that-
as trustees should not be engaging in any administrative work or functions that behind the doors in the
Okay,
administration.
You've spoken more than two
So-
times. Your hand is raised. I recognize you. Right, but let's keep in mind all of the items that you had on our last meeting that had nothing to do with legislative. Let's move on. Trustee Dr. Winston,
Good evening.
please proceed forward.
Good evening, Mayor.
I have no, I'm not interrupting. You've exhausted, you've talked more than two times. We're moving on. Okay, Trustee Dr. Winston, please proceed.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Board of Directors, Board of Trustees. Good evening, residents. My request for the procurement and the financial policy and procedure to be put on the agenda simply is because it was brought forth several months ago for the Board of Trustees to review and then come back to the table for discussion so that we can move to vote to accept it, make amendments, so that our administrative departments can proceed with current policies and procedures. That is my reason for requesting for it to be on the agenda. Now, have I read the policies and procedures? I have. Am I ready to sit and discuss it? I am. Both of these policies and procedures are warranted within our village. It helps to protect our village. As we just completed an audit that I don't believe anyone in here was pleased with, these policies and procedures help us, the Board of Trustees, to be able to govern our administration. Right now, without these policies and procedures in place, we leave ourselves open for employees to act on whatever manner they may want to. So I think it is very important that we review these, that we have discussion about it, and that we move to either vote to amend it or approve in the near future versus pushing it further back out, because this policy was first sent to us November the 3rd, 2025. But we have yet to come to the table to discuss it. So I asked for it to be brought to the agenda so that we can at least begin to discuss this, so that we can move as a responsible board to vote policy and procedure in, so that we are able to govern the employees according to policy and procedures. That's the end of mine.
Thank you very much. Yes, Trustee Burns.
Yes, so my question is, I recall talking about appointments. I don't know if you recall us setting up appointments with the finance director to individually go over the procedures, and you can concentrate on the particular things that each trustee wanted. Did we forget or bypass that process?
No one came to them.
No, we talked about it in the committee meeting.
I know, but no one followed up
No,
and
we
communicated
talked
with
about.
him.
I have called Mr. McMillan's number, and I never did answer, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just asking, did Mr. McMillan follow up with any of the trustees to set up the appointments? That's all I'm asking.
Thank you. And this is how I would like to see the rest of this segment move forward. Please entertain me. And that is, let us, since we're doing an update at this point, let us question what has been done, what was not. Let's let him, because he's on the agenda to talk about his part, let's let him say and state explicitly what has, question? No, I'm saying, no. She's asking who, did he follow up and call anyone? Give us your presentation, sir, and what you need, what has happened since you first asked us to look. I'm going to ask for attention, please. Give us your presentation. Typically, people give a presentation, and then from their presentation, we entertain questions. That's how we do this, not before someone give their presentation. Let's give him the courtesy. He's here to address it. Please, sir, move forward.
First of all, good evening to all of you, to the residents of Sauk Village.
Can you please hold the mic closer, because people in the back can't hear?
To answer your question, no, I have not reached out to any of the trustees. None of the trustees reached out to me. My door always open. I'm just asking you guys to review the policies, make any recommended changes so that we can move forward. We are instituting procedures, but they need policy to back them and give them teeth. We have old policies that we're following, but I don't agree with them. I think they're outdated and they may not be well suited based on our own audits. From the 2 audits that I've seen, I would not think we had policies, because nothing was done by policy that I can see. So I'm just asking you guys to review them. If you have changes or recommendations, my door always open. You can call me, you can stop by, you can send me an email. I don't care how you present your proposal. I just need to get something. I'm just asking you guys to review them. And if you feel that they're suitable, let's pass them, get this stuff going. That's all I'm asking. And I'm only here to answer questions if you have them. I don't have a presentation. The policies speak for themselves.
Has anyone other than Dr. Winston had an opportunity since November to preview the document that he's presented? Have you given him feedback, or do you plan to give feedback in the near future? What about everyone else? Okay. They will be communicating back with you, sir. You said you did not have a preference. You said they could call you, they could email you, they could stop in. Are we all aware that we have 3 options to communicate your choices? I'm still talking. Are we aware?
Point of information.
Okay, just a minute. And
Point of information.
okay, you don't interrupt a point of information. You interrupt a point of order. This is a point of information. You allow the speaker to continue to speak. Robert Rules of Order. Okay. Will you be communicating with the interim
Point of information.
director? Will you be communicating?
Point of information.
Point of order can be interrupted.
Mayor, you must acknowledge a point of information. You can ask the attorney when it's called. Everything must stop and you must acknowledge a point of information.
Sir, do you have anything else that you need to say at this point? Okay.
Attorney?
Then, we're not dealing with a point of information.
Is
We're
that
dealing
correct,
with questions.
attorney? I'm asking for a point of information, meaning everything stops and she must acknowledge a point of information. A point of information is when you're asking a question to interrupt someone. Yes, it is.
No, it doesn't.
Yes,
Okay,
it does.
If he answered, then you still have to accept it. So now, let's move on.
No, I have,
As I said, let's move on.
I need to
Let me finish saying what I need to say, and you're going to be right where you need to be, trustee. I'm saying the next point that we will go to, now that the 2 of them have finished, is to entertain your questions or your comments. I'm listening at this point.
thank you, Mayor. Okay, so, again, when I went over these policies and procedures, I have called several times and I can't leave a message in the voicemail. And I'm not always available in Sauk Village to just drop in and drop by. When I am, it's usually very late and it's almost time for you all to leave. So that's why I did request in November, whenever you all finish doing whatever you needed to do, if you will reach out to the trustees and give us time slots to actually come visit the office with all of our questions and concerns with the policies and procedures. That is what, for me, it's better if I have an appointment, then I can schedule myself to actually come into the office and do this properly.
Thank you. Sir, what I'm going to ask, because everyone have different levels of availability, so I know that it would not necessarily be proper for you to assign them time. Trustee Burns has given you notice of how she would like to be notified so that you 2 can schedule when she can come into your office. What I'm going to ask of you, sir, is to communicate back with each of the trustees. You've given them 3 different options. Find out which option works best for them to give you a time or a method for which they will share with you questions, concerns, suggestions, solutions, whatever it is that they would want to provide for you. Can we do that?
Again, I will say this, and I've said this to all the trustees. I'm at work from 8 to 5, any 5 days a week. Anytime you want to stop by, you can. Anytime you call my direct number, because our telephones have been messed up, but allegedly they're fixed. And now I can get your phone call, because I have been getting phone calls. My phone number is 708-758-5120 is direct to me, and my email is fmcmillan@saukvillage.org. You guys don't have to have an appointment to come see me. You can just drop in. I'm there from 8 to 5. I will stay late if you need me to, whatever you need, so we can discuss this, because these are very important to me. So whatever time, you can tell me a time after this meeting. You guys can set a time after the meeting. Whatever time you guys set up is fine with me.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Johnson, you have a point of information. Do you have a comment at this point?
No, but I would like to clarify with you that I was correct. If you look it up, it says a point of information, a brief 10 to 15 second interruption during a debate, speech, or formal meeting. Use to ask a question to clarify a point or highlight a contradiction. Do we have that understood, Attorney and Mayor? You can use it as an automatic interruption
Okay.
to get a clarification or ask a question,
So
sir.
right now, we're going to stay on topic.
And what I'm saying, she needs to acknowledge it. That's all I'm saying.
Parliamentary procedures. No, we're not. But anything else for our interim director? Anything else from the director? Trustee Sauk.
I just want to say that Mr. McMillan has availed himself to me. I do drop in quite often. And he's always been available. And full of information. As you said, he's here 9 to 5 daily. Because I just pop in and he's always available.
And I can say, he definitely takes his lunch every day, and almost every day it's a Sabbath. But, that's his choice, and that's okay. But usually he's only away from his actual office while he eats that wonderful salad, 15, 20 minutes at the most. But if you come in, I am certain that he will stop eating and entertain you. He's very, very approachable, and that's all you have to do. But bottom line, we got to move forward with these policies, procedures, and all of that, okay? We just have to move forward. Thank you both for your attention to this at this moment, and I appreciate it. No, sir, don't leave. Come on back. There's something else that we must entertain annually, and that is how we're going to handle our certificate of deposit that we have, and he's going to speak on that as well.
We have a $1.2 million CD that will expire, and we need to either renew that CD, we can shorten the term, or we can release and spend the money. But my recommendation to this board is that we renew it for at least 6 months until we can better decide what we might need or if we have an emergency. But I think we'll get a nice return on a 6-month CD. And I think the bank is pushing another 1 year CD. But you can get them for longer.
I do like the idea of every 1 year, but it's still the pleasure of the board. That will, this is for discussion. But it will be an action item on the special board meeting following this one. But right now, it's for discussion. And Trustee Sterling had her hand raised first.
Yes, Freddie. You gave the how much, but what's the maturity date? Do you know offhand?
I believe it ends at the end of this month, or it's either the 15th or the end of this month.
And know that one other piece that is very important, the interest rate changes daily on CDs when we lock into whatever mode we're going to go. So therefore, right now, it's between 3% to 3.5%. But at the time that we're going to vote on it this evening, and then the earliest we can get back to them to solidify anything will naturally be tomorrow. So we will then go with whatever rates that they offer tomorrow. Last week, as I said, it was the 3 to 3.5%, depending on whether or not you went with a 4-month, 6-month, or 12 months. So when we take the vote later this evening, we can't say what the price is locked in at, because it will be depending upon the rate that they're offering tomorrow.
And I would just add that it is probably best we do it 1 year, because you guys use that as collateral for line of credit, and you might want to do that. Right now, with the smart guy in the presidency and with the way things are going, we may need that as a collateral for a line of credit in the future. So putting it in the CD might be a great idea for us.
Trustee Johnson, I believe your hand is raised. He answered it?
My question was repeating what he said. The first statement was he recommended at first to do a 6-month, but then he came back and said a year.
So yours was going to
My
be
answer
a
was
year.
what answered. Yeah, my question was answered. I was going to say a year,
Okay.
like we previously had it.
Thank you. So we'll entertain this at the board meeting that's following this one, okay? Let's move on. A few weeks back, you were asked to provide your recommendations for forensic audit in terms of the scope of work. 3 trustees provided wonderful, quality information on that behalf. Initially, I had planned to look at and to take each one of them and to combine them all, which would have made it easier for everyone to digest, so that if 3 of you said the exact same thing, you wouldn't have to read it 3 different times. The 3 trustees, the way they presented it in different formats, but I didn't get all of that in time before putting your packets together on Friday. So I opted instead to give to you, and that's the last part of this packet, and it starts, the first one starts with the email from Trustee Dr. Winston. The next one, and she did hers through email, as you can see. The next one was presented by Trustee Raven Johnson, and hers took on this approach. And that's what's in your packet. And the last one, the trustee endeavored to actually draft an ordinance, even though, wait a minute, something happened. I don't have that one. And is your ordinance in here? I'm sorry? Okay, I don't have it in my packet. Do all of you? I don't have it in my packet, so I thank you for sharing it with me. No, I don't have mine, but does everyone else have theirs? That's what's important. Someone shared theirs with me. But who shared theirs with me? Can you give Trustee Johnson yours so that we can all be looking at the same thing? I'm losing it. I have it. Jesus Christ. Okay, so how do you want to take a bite out of this elephant? We have 3, and so do you want to go one by one, or did you have an opportunity to look at all 3 and some items stood out in your minds? I'm open to your suggestions. Yes, Trustee Johnson.
Is there any way that you can give us a little bit more time to review all 3 of them and then come back and then we can discuss it?
Is that the pleasure of the rest of the board? You didn't read them either, so there's no readiness for us to have a valid discussion this evening, correct? Thank you. Your question?
Okay, so this is for the audit for 2022 through
No, this is
2026?
for forensic audit.
For a forensic audit from 2022 through 2026?
I thought it was 2021.
2021? Okay, on the paper here, it says May of 2022 through May of 2026. So I wanted to know, has anything occurred that the board doesn't know about? Because why is this such an importance as far as the stress at the time? Because when we asked about it a couple months ago, it was no need for it from everyone. It was encouraged that we should not get a forensic audit because of the paperwork, the money issue. They told me so much. I even requested the FOIAs to get our closing amounts. Nothing was given to me because they said of lack of finding. The lack of findings.
Findings.
The lack of findings,
Okay.
yes.
There's a difference between a financial audit and a forensic audit.
Yes, so I do support a forensic audit, but I want to make sure that we are addressing the full picture, the original concerns and allegations that were tied to 2022 through 2021. Now we're being asked to forward with a forensic audit covering 2022 through 2026.
Does any other?
Wait, I'm not finished, I'm sorry. I'm just pausing for a quick second because I want to just highlight that you all have that up there. As far as for, while we're being told that the outcome, well, no, I'm not.
Okay.
While excuse me, I'm not finished. Let me continue on talking and then you can go ahead.
No, I'm taking notes.
Okay.
And
So covering.
For the record, I need to be clear.
Okay, covering
You said
from
you're
2021.
circling something. Which one is she circling? Your email.
Your
that
email,
says
2022 through 2026.
Thank
You said 2021, so it goes back even further because we're looking at 2020 through 2021. Okay, so to the present, to the 2026, to the present. So while we're being told that the outcome will be no different, my question is simple. If we are confident that nothing improper occurred, then why would we not include the original time frame in a forensic review? Forensic audit is not about assumptions, it is about verification. So I would like a little clarity on this. Are we expanding the scope of the audit to include additional year? Or are we replacing the original time frame altogether? What I cannot do is support moving forward in a way that leaves the original concerns unverified at that time of the day. It's about transparency, accountability, and maintaining the public's trust in this board, and the best way to do so is to ensure that the full scope is concerned and is addressed not partially but completely. And that is all.
Thank you very much for that. I see two hands. We're going to go with Sterling first and then Johnson, but before that, I'm going to ask, especially those who provided input, to state, because right now a concern is the timeline for the audit. I am looking at one that says 2021 to the present. I'm looking at another one that says May 22nd to 2026, for which I think that was the one that was circled by the trustee asking the question. And on the other one,
I did not have,
you didn't have a date.
years. I just had 3 to 5 year fiscal years.
3 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I am going to ask not just the three of you who endeavored to share your insights, what precipitated you for presenting as you did, and then I would like to open it to the other trustees as well to assist Trustee Jones with some of the questions and concerns that she raised. Can we please?
So as far as for the trustees, did you all bring it to the board's attention, or was this something from you, Madam Mayor?
Oh, no.
As far as for wanting the forensic audit? We talked about it a couple months ago. Who talked about it? Okay, so I wasn't here for the forensic audit. So it was presented, you presented it? Who presented it?
The question was, whoever wants the forensic audit, to send her an email by a certain date.
Okay, so it was suggested by you, Madam Mayor. If you all had who had the suggestion? That's what
Okay, Trustee Johnson, can you share greater?
It was a day that we was at the committee of the whole was reviewing the audit. I spoke up and I stated that it's time for a forensic audit, people, because I was not accepting of what Banker Tilly was presenting to this board and to this village and the residents and the taxpayers. So I suggested, I spoke up and said, I think it's time for us to do a forensic audit. So it was my idea.
Okay, so I'm glad that she spoke up and said it, because now it sort of de-escalated your temper. Trustee Sterling.
I'm listening to what Trustee Jones is saying, was brought up a question I needed to ask. So as far as we've already had our audit done with financial audit. The forensic audit is going to be more extensive, correct? Now, my other question is, with the forensic audit, are they going to be able to find things that they couldn't find with the regular financial audit, because there was problems with us finding documents?
The difference between, and this is what was told to us by, thank you, with the regular financial audit, they audit the village records, what we have and what we're able to present to them based on a list of items they ask of us. With the forensic audit, it's more extensive. They're not necessarily, they may, but they're not necessarily asking us to produce elements. What they're going to do is to actually communicate with the banks and the establishments and get just delve much more deeper. I'm sorry, I'm going to ask that we have a little decorum within our ranks, within us, okay? Thank you very much for your attention, and we can proceed on. Did I make that clear?
Sorry, with the financial audit, they were going to answer the questions of the administrative in the village itself. With the forensic audit, they're going to actually go and speak with individuals at the bank, vendors, or whoever that was involved in whatever financial dealings.
Exactly, and they're going to compare the amounts of monies and all of that. Sir, did I respond to that correctly? I did not? Please provide greater clarification. Could have come on up here early.
They're going to start with us. They're going to ask us to produce documents, because what a forensic audit is going to do is look at what was presented and what is not there. And then they will decide whether or not they can go elsewhere. It's going to be expensive. It's going to take a lot of time. And they're going to go through a whole lot of stuff. They're going to probably speak to everybody. And it's going to be an interesting time for the village, and it's going to be very expensive, because forensic audits are going to be higher than our attorneys, because they're going to have to recreate documents, sort of like what we're doing now. We're recreating documents based on what we see in our general ledger. They're going to do the same thing, except they're going to do it. They're not police, so they can't go and subpoena records. They're going to go. They may have you send out letters to the bank because they're not on our bank account. So they're going to ask you to send out letters to the bank, have the bank give them information away from you so that it's no collusion, and they're going to look at things. But again, like Baker and Telly said, if we don't have records, they're not going to go very far. But I think if you guys are more specific to what you're looking for them to look at, they may be able to help with that, like bank recs, for instance. They may be able to subpoena our bank. Ask you to get bank statements, and they can go through our bank statements and our general ledger and try to find out what's missing or what was missing. They'll look to see the deposits that we said went to the bank actually arrived at the bank and things like that. And they can go through as many years as you're willing to pay. But they're not police and they're not detectives and they don't have subpoena right. So it's not what people make it, but it is a very extensive and it can be blood curdling for people who might have had something to hide. So that's an expense that I don't know if the village can afford it, but it's an expense that you guys have to decide if you want to do it. But records are records, and if the records are missing, they're not going to get too far.
Thank you, Trustee Sterling.
And that's kind of what I'm concerned with, because the forensic audit is going to cost us a lot of money. And I just feel that we're going to probably, my opinion, would we run into the same thing as not be able to find them. And we've been to spend all this money, find our records that they may be looking for. And we've been spent all that money and we still won't have a solution. That's what I'm concerned about.
Thank you. Can we have a recollection of when this came before us a few weeks ago? What was the impetus for bringing it forward at this point as a need? And hearing what you just heard, do you still feel that that need is sufficient?
I do.
Okay.
As a board, we have a responsibility to put these accusations to rest. We need to do our due diligence to find out exactly what happened to the mismanagement of money. If it happened or if it didn't, so that we can put it to rest so the village can move forward. Because I'm tired of hearing about it. Did it happen or didn't it happen? I do know the policies and procedures, I see that.
Procedures that we currently have, as our interim financial director stated, is so many loopholes in it. So it is not governing the administration the way it needs to be. So the opportunity for more mismanagement is available. So all of these things tie in together, dot to dot. They tie in together. So we need to do our due diligence to find out, to put it to rest, and move forward with policies and procedures to help govern and protect the village.
Thank you for that. I had a hand raised over here and I'm not certain. Was it you, Trustee Johnson? Okay. So, I've heard someone say that you want more time. I've heard someone ask if it was really needed or necessary. I would like to, finally, let's come up with what are we going to do in terms of moving forward.
A according to what we've been told by the auditors and also our director of finance, he suggested that we be able to pinpoint specific things that we're looking for to give them a direction. And if he's going to start with us, according to everyone's involved, the documents are not available that they need or they will need when they have to start here first. So I think we really, really need to really get the insight, even greater now, from the director, because I think he knows better than any of us if a forensic audit is worth our energy, our time, and our dollars. Other than that, I'm trying to understand, I would like the director to make me understand, how is a forensic audit actually going to take place if all these obstacles are in the way? Can that actually happen? Is my question.
I would think, though, that as we look at whatever company we'll present the forensic audit, that they could let us know conclusively if they could perform one that is extensive as we may need. But right now, we don't know how extensive we want, because we had 3 individuals to share with us the scope of work, and we've not consolidated it, and we've asked for more time. But if the majority of you say, yay, I think that it's worth the time and it's going to be viable that we continue to keep it on the agenda until we resolve this. If the majority of you say, we don't want to go that route, then rather than to expend a whole lot more time, we need to move on. However, I can say, if I can remember from public comments and trustee comments, the public wanted a forensic audit. The majority of the trustees wanted a forensic audit. It's never about me. It's never about Marva, what Marva wanted, what Marva said. I just implement what policies and things that you all set up. So it wasn't me. I don't even think I gave up input in terms of whether or not we should move forward with the forensic audit, okay? But we can't keep circling this bush if you don't see, if the majority of you do not see the value in it. So that's why I'm asking each one of you. We're not taking a vote. You've given yours, and I have that recorded. You say that you think that we should still move forward. I'm looking at the rest of you. Should we? Okay, Trustee Johnson says pursue it. Anyone? Okay.
I have a question. Only because I know I was the first one to email mine, and I had the clerk email every trustee. I would like to know if any of the trustees reviewed my scope for the forensic audit. So it's
That's why they asked for more time.
I'm the one that asked for more time.
Oh.
Okay, because I felt like my fellow board members did not read that email, and it was very important because it's very detailed. I put time and effort from the past to the present that we need to look into. So the only one right here I know is Trustee Sterling. You said you did review mine? And Trustee Jones. I'm asking y'all to read it.
Yeah, I read a lot of policies, so I was trying to catch up on, but I told you to send it to you.
We did.
It was asked, but it didn't happen that way.
I wish for the scope was for everybody, all the board members. That's why I went through the clerk.
I did ask, but and I am going to ask the remaining trustees who did not endeavor to submit any. You have 3 in front of you. If we are going to proceed onward, I would only ask, develop your own scope and/or join in with the scopes that's already been listed and share them, so that when we come back together, we can have a bona fide discussion. The thing is, being a trustee requires, and you know I'm a former teacher, so I can just say it takes homework. It takes homework, not just sitting here. You've got to do some research and study on your own time and come up with your own premises. But the beauty of it is you already have right in front of you 3 perspectives. Choose some of them. Is it worth us coming back and allocating time? Trustees, I'm asking, is this worth us allocating time on another agenda to actually work through this? So I do see a majority. How much more time do you think that you need? The next committee meeting, or are we talking a committee meeting in June? What's your preference? The next one? Okay, so the next one is what date? Today is the 5th, 12th, 19th, is it? 19th? I'll place this on the agenda for the 19th with the expectation that we can come up and pull from all the ones that we've received already and those others that you send to me. We can call and decide which ones we would want to prevent order to do, because I'm certain, based on what our expectations, what you're asking, it's going to contribute to the cost as well, and or cause the cost to be lower. But we have to know what we want before we can approach an auditor. Then we have to decide on who's going to do the forensic audit. So hopefully we'll be able to do both of those on the 19th and solidify it at the following board meeting. Are we in agreement with that? Yes. Thank you. Moving on, I'm going to talk on the Juneteenth holiday proposal. It was brought, this was something else that was brought back, I would say in October or November, and we've not dealt with it at all. However, I can say that since that time, the Public Works Union have approved it in their union contract. And I can tell you that the FOP, which is for the fire and police, it's on theirs, and it's very close to being a done deal as well. Know that if our public safety entities are off work, there's no way that the village hall, the municipality, can be open. And I need you to take that into consideration. We do have, you have ordinance in your packet, and I think that at some point in time, we are going to need to take up a collection for Trustee Sterling to go back to school to become a lawyer, because she loves writing up ordinances and contributing to them. And so the one that's before you has been sent to our attorney, but I asked them not to necessarily work on it at this point until we had a meeting today. Because every time they look at an ordinance, look at what we want, we're being charged for it. But this is one that took into consideration some of the livid, active dialogue that we had the last time that it came before us. And I'm hoping that now we can agree that we're not looking at taking over the national holiday, that the only thing that we're attempting to do is to establish Juneteenth as a holiday here in the village of Sauk Village. We ain't even talking about the state, because all of them have already adopted it. We have not. Did anyone have an opportunity to read through this ordinance? You have. Yes, ma'am.
Are you sure we adopted last year? Because I could have swore we did this.
No, we didn't adopt it. We've never adopted the ordinance for Juneteenth as a formal holiday. Okay?
Sterling and myself had some changes that we sent to the mayor. We had some changes.
But we didn't vote on anything.
We had some changes that we said needed to be done and we never brought it back.
So we're bringing it back now, with the hopes though that because Juneteenth is next month, that we can name it as an official holiday. It is, as I said, already with Public Works as a holiday, and Chief Don can avow that it will soon be in firemen and police. Well, the firemen do not have a contract or a union, but it will be in the police, because they're pushing and fighting for it hard. So the only thing that the village needs to make it so is for the board, for you, to adopt Juneteenth as an official holiday for staff for the municipality. It will be, does anyone have any questions on what you're seeing, reading right now? Because at the special meeting coming up directly behind this one, it will be on the agenda for adoption, not necessarily this exact ordinance. I believe that it would need to go to Attorney Tillman for him to give us his blessings, but that's something that can be done between now and Friday, sir. This is, if you've seen it. So if you can give us, I mean, if you have any changes or whatever, but it is on our next agenda, people, on the next board agenda. Okay? Any other comments or questions on that? Thank you. We are not going to go into executive closed session, but it is time for public comment. And I'm going to ask Trustee Dr. Winston to set your timer for 3 minutes. And when you get to the 2-minute mark, let commenters know that they have 1 additional minute to comment. When their time is up, give them an opportunity to complete that sentence. And then we will move forward. I am going to ask at this point, anyone that wishes to give public comment to come to the podium, to the mic at this point in time. All questions and comments must be directed to the mayor. Each of you who's commenting will have 1 opportunity to speak for up to 3 minutes. Know that you don't have to take all 3 minutes, people. We have another whole meeting coming up and we can get some other comments, okay? But we're not going to engage in debate, counter replies, rebuttals. I'm going to respond to questions if I can. Most times, if it's a comment, I do not respond to it, but if I cannot respond to the question at that point in time, I will get back to you. But know that public comment does not require a response. And we're talking procedurally. Is everyone in line that would like to bring public comment? If you would, second time, third time. Anyone that wishes to bring public comment, I'm going to ask that you be in line now. Otherwise, you will remain seated because the last person to give public comment, as I see it right now, is the gentleman in the red hat. Trustee Dr. Winston, we're going to put it in your hands at this point.
I'm Francine Anderson, and I do have a few comments for today. First of all, I wanted to remind the trustees, you have some fiscal responsibility around how the money that is in, that income that comes into this village is spent. I am in total disagreement with having a forensic audit. And let me tell you why. I could do those real quickly. First of all, I think it would be, the last one was $50,000. That was about 4 years ago, or maybe 5. It was 50. So now with the rate, things are moving up. You're gonna spend $75,000 to find out what we already know. Baker and Teller told you very clearly that there was no files and they couldn't get anything, and for the next year is going to be the same. So why waste that money? I think we could invest that in our water system and also invest that in something that we could do for our youth. The other thing is, a part of the fiscal responsibilities, I also would like to talk about the CD renewal. Why wasn't there a banker here today to talk to you about the different percentages and how much we could possibly, the percentage could be for our CD? I heard some information, but I didn't hear a banker come. Previously, we have had bankers come to talk to you, especially the bank that holds our CD. Let them talk, and let them talk to the public and talk to you at this public forum, so we all can be getting the information at the same time. Well, as we talk about fiscal responsibility, which is, I think that was y'all theme for today. I want to talk about what I saw for the last year as a lack of responsibility. And part of that lack of responsibility I see as, we purchased 2 ambulances. We purchased 5 police cars, and I still don't know how we're paying for them. I know they said there's other ways. I'm sure, I understand it. But my concern is, if those don't come through, then the taxpayers got to pay that bill. The other is that your combined complex that was talked about, I think a couple of meetings ago, that's going to cost us an approximately $10 million to the taxpayers. I am in total disagreement of spending $10 million on a building at this particular time. I would love to see you rehab and do some reconstruction at the 2 facilities that are mentioned, the police department and the fire department. The other thing is that, Mayor, you have said it numerous times within the past year for people to sue the village. I don't think that's a good idea. I think if you would stop and slow down a little bit and kind of conserve what you're thinking at that time, you wouldn't say go ahead. Because I'm telling you, our lawyers are making some darn good money, and they are proven to me, and only in my opinion, to not be completing the task as well as it should have been for the money they make.
Thank you.
My name is, I'm sorry. My name is Ernest Dodd, and I've been living here.
I'm sorry, can you spell that?
Dodd, D-O-D-D. Yeah, main reason I'm here is about the water, when she brought that up, and I been here, and the water's terrible. I don't see how somebody could come with an audit and have half of the town with good water and the other half with bad water. That don't make sense to me. And you talking about a forensic audit, it's just like asking for the cost of death and then doing an autopsy. That's going to automatically cost you more. That don't make sense either. I'm saying, and then the streets, it's good you start with the streets, but I believe that when I see it. But important thing is about this water. I'm saying, I don't understand for the life of me to this day how some people have good water and some people don't. Nobody can explain that to me. I'm saying, and yeah, you do your audit, talking about the MFT, BBGH, and IDOT, all that thing 114000. I'm saying, why can't you fix the water? I'm saying, why can't you fix the water with all that? I'm saying, kids need water. People need water. I'm saying, that should be a primary thing. People in third world countries got this better water than they do here. I'm saying, and that just doesn't make sense to me. You can explain that to me later, down in a year, but you cannot explain that to me now. I'm saying how, and let me get off that. But you don't need a forensic audit. Squash that. Keep that money in your pocket. Keep that money in the vault. You don't need that. I'm saying, let them come in and look at what they're going to look at, because they know who lives here, and they're going to try to get as much out of you as they can. So just forget that. I'm saying, and I'll just stick with the primary thing. But you got to get that water fixed. I'm saying it just beyond me. It frustrates me from top to bottom, just even thinking about it, let alone talking about it.
Thank you, sir. I do want just to respond just a little bit to what you said in terms of some of our grantors who's providing monies for us to fix our streets, which are horrible in a lot of places. But anytime you're seeking a grant, you have to follow what the grant is willing to pay for. And the grant that we have is for fixing the streets, our fire hydrants, and things along that line. So we would not want to forego getting our streets repaved, getting our fire hydrants, which is a major safety issue. We wouldn't want to forego getting them corrected as well. Some of these streets have been here since 1957, sir. And if you were to travel around, you will see that there are some very bumpy streets in this village. We have done some of the streets. We got a whole lot more to do. Does the water need to be corrected? We're looking at, who remember that amount? Was it 300 million? To repair our infrastructure, our pipes and everything underneath the streets that needs to be repaired as well. Many of them have not been repaired, touched since 1957. So it's only so much that we can do. It's only so much. What we have contemplated was looking at some grant funding where we can assist some of our residents get home water filtered systems. We've not found that yet, but we are still looking to see if that would at least help soften the water that's coming into the homestead. No counter replies.
No.
No counter replies, sir.
I can understand.
No counter replies. Thank you.
David Fields First, I want to commend our finance director, and I think that I feel honesty there. And in that honesty, I think that's the right direction to go in what he is proposing.
And what's that?
Secondly, I want to say, I hate to beat this dead horse, but I'm going to keep beating it until it wake up. This forensic audit that was brought up, I'm just curious. After we done spent thousands of dollars on an audit, why wasn't it brought up in the very beginning before those thousands of dollars were spent? And whoever it was that brought that company in, why not say do the forensic audit then if there's going to be one? Because that money, seems like that money is a whole lot more money than the thousands and thousands that's been spent already. And it just don't make sense to me. I constantly talk about the games people play and the things that I see when I sit in here. And I'm saying it right now. It's a lot of things that need to change. It should not be business as usual, because business as usual got you in this mess that you're in right now, and it needs to change. And I'm telling you, I'm saying it now. People are being watched and don't realize they're being watched. There's no report card that's being did, but there is checks and balances that's being had. And I tell you, it's time for us to tighten our game up here in this Sauk village. I've only been a Saukie for 5 years here, and I plan on staying here a whole lot longer. Me and my better half. And I know I'm gonna do everything that I possibly can to bring the corruption out and move it out of the way, because that's the only way this village will progress. So we need to tighten up our game here, y'all, and be about the business of the Sauk village and these residents. I say it again, and these residents. That's who we're supposed to be standing for. Because when you start putting self first, you got a problem. You got a problem. So again, I think the recommendations that came from our finance director is the right way to go. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
Let me know when you're ready. David Smith, resident. I'm going to start off on a positive note for those that think I'm always negative, and say I am happy with the recommendation of the finance director and Trustee Johnson about the CD. You guys don't need to break that. 1 year will probably give you your best interest rate, so I'm very pleased with that. Now, to the other side, to the flip side, the negative. May 6th last year, we're coming up on a year, the village administrator sat right here at the committee of the whole meeting, and he promised the residents 60 to 90 days. We should pretty much be at a resolution for the water bills. If you don't believe me, look up Sauk Village Voice on YouTube when you get home and you get some time, and scroll about 3/4 of the way through the video, and you'll see our interim village administrator say exactly what I just said. It's way past the time frame, and we're not getting any sort of updates at all. It's a shame the other resident had to come up here and get all highly upset about it, when we should be actually getting some sort of an informational update from the village. What we are getting from the interim village administrator is negativity, lies, unprofessionalism online. And I just don't appreciate that. It's conduct unbecoming of someone in his position. Specifically when he's currently suing the village for $1.587 million. I said it, $1.587 million. Under false pretenses. Our village attorneys just clarified in a document that they filed within the last 2 weeks that he lied about the terms of his lawsuit. He knows why he got fired. He misrepresented that in court for the sake of, again, trying to get 1.5, almost $1.6 million, which is almost 15% of our estimated revenue for last year. It's ridiculous. I don't understand why he's even here. Dr. Winston said earlier, the opportunity for mismanagement exists. And we put somebody in position to run our day-to-day operations that would misrepresent the facts to get almost $2 million. Why? He wasn't approved by the board. He was in the middle of the whole mismanagement. Don't know whether he stole. I'm not going to say he did because I wasn't here and I can't prove it. But if I had a register and somebody working my register and they were accused of money being missing, I wouldn't allow them to work the register until whatever the allegation was found out. He was in the middle of the whole storm that happened under the last administration. And you just put him back at the helm without getting the verification that you're now looking to get. That doesn't seem like a wise decision, and specifically based on his lawsuit.
Thank you, sir. Moving on, general comments, trustees, do you have any comments? No, I don't want to call you individually, so you can just say yay or nay. Okay, I do, if you don't mind. I have a letter that I wrote to you, and I'm not going to read it all to you, but I am going to allow you a couple of minutes to read it now. Can you please pass it? I know a lot of times you've been getting a lot of information in your emails, and it's likely that you've not been reading them all, but I need you to really take some time to look at this. And as I'm appealing to you to take this time, I am going to ask that after this meeting concludes, which should probably be in another minute or two, I am going to ask every trustee to stay with us for at least another 15 minutes, because we have to approve, if nothing else. It's on the backside too. We have to approve accounts payable that did not get taken last week. And I'm going to call on our interim finance director one more time to come and say why it's important, so that we're not doing it when it's time. But if you can give your comment on my behalf at this point, because we did meet with Public Works earlier today. And just as we were in a dire situation twice this year already in terms of fuel for our fire department, police and the police department, we're at a critical point too. Sir, I'm certain they can't read while you're talking. Did you see the email that I sent from John Conway later this afternoon?
Yes, I did.
Okay, can you just share with them why it's important that they remain, so that we can at least take that vote?
Okay, well, I will only mention one vendor. Accounts payable should get paid no matter what, but I will mention one vendor, Heritage, which provides the fuel for our vehicles. Public Works gave me an estimate today that on Friday or Saturday, they're going to run out of fuel. And if they run out of fuel, so will the police, which means that our police officers won't be able to ride around and protect the city or respond to calls. Public Works won't be able to respond to any emergency water main breaks or whatever that they respond to. So that's one thing. And the fire department has an estimate that they're going to run out of diesel fuel on Monday or Tuesday. So not paying bills put me in a bad light, because I have to go and call these vendors and explain to them why they're not getting their money. But not paying for the fuel that's inexplicable. If we don't pay our fuel and our fireman can't respond to a fire, and it could be one of your homes, there's nothing we can do about that. And the same thing with an ambulance. If the ambulance can't go on a call and someone dies, we have to bear that. So I'm just asking you guys, I hope that you will rethink and approve. If you don't approve nothing, at least approve heritage, because that's important.
I'm sorry, sir.
I'm done. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Trustee Johnson?
As we was discussing, me and Trustee Jones, in the past, we would have credit with gas and wash for emergencies. This is not the first time, sir, this has happened. It's occurred last year. And when it came down to it, our mayor called for a state of emergency. You called for a state of emergency and you paid it. Exactly. So that's our backup. So don't put it up to the residents and to the board like as we have no options.
I'm not aware of the gas and wash credit.
See, they should have updated you when you stepped in here. The mayor has certain powers that she can override the board with.
But I don't want to.
And she can do a state of emergency if it comes down to it.
I don't want to.
So my question to you, Finance Director, which one, well, both of them is important, but we at a standstill where what happens if our general fund get frozen because the village of Sauk Village don't want to pay attorneys? So make that make sense for me. We still gonna be at a standstill. So how are we gonna fix that issue? Don't worry, I'll wait.
Are you asking?
Yes, I said Finance Director.
We can get frozen.
Yes, we can. An attorney, listen, let me tell you, an attorney can put a court document in court and freeze our general fund for their payment.
But then all of our vendors can do that. I mean,
No, attorney, again, attorneys. We're talking about attorney.
I'm not saying.
Let's stay on subject, sir.
Okay.
Attorneys.
I'm going to
Right
say
now, our
that's-
debate is with an
that's-
attorney. We want to pay an attorney, and y'all are holding up the payment. The board approved for it. So what happens when this attorney firm freezes our general fund? Don't worry, I'll wait.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Burns?
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, the comment that I want to make, yes, we have, Heritage has been on the spectrum where they have not been paid before, and we do have alternatives for gas. So please do not think that if there's a discrepancy on dealing with our accounts payable, and right now there is, that if gas is not dealt with through Heritage, our police department and our fire departments and our ambulances, they can still receive gas. The thing that I'm concerned about is this. We are trustees, and once a trustee approves the accounts payable, not the mayor, not the finance director, not the village administrator, can override what the trustees approve. Trustees give the directive, and the mayor and her administration is to follow that. Now, if the trustees are sitting around at these meetings approving payments and vendors to be paid, and then the mayor or the administration makes their own decisions to ignore the trustees, that's breaking the law. So we have communicated, I have specifically communicated, that the mayor knows, I don't know if the director of finance knows, but once the board votes, that is what is to be carried out. There's no if, ands, or buts about that. If there's an emergency that come to be, after we vote, then the mayor and her administration is to contact these trustees within 24 hours to give us explanation as to why we voted on paying bills to any vendor, and you chose to pay some vendors and not to pay other vendors once we have approved it all. Period.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to say this. When we do not approve accounts payable, The last time, we paid absolutely no one, so we weren't selective with paying some and not others. I was not, you know, I let you finish, and I'm not doing this. Please just let me finish. Thank you very much. So, I think that I've allowed myself to get distracted. Let me get back on track. We've not paid any bill since we took a vote, okay? I think, no, not I think, I know for a fact that we reached out to the attorney company that's in question, and we asked them to send us not just their invoices, but to let us know the actual case and the litigation, because we, the village, does not have the record of that particular company providing the services at that time. We only asked. We attempted to do our due diligence. Now, they may have shared something with one or two of you, but I've not seen it. And all I know is when we reached out to the company, they've not communicated back with us. They may be in communication with some of you, but they've not communicated with us. We're attempting to do what the trustees asked us to do, but we have an obligation to find out what did they do, give us the cases. The cases are not on file in our offices. We don't know the cases. We don't know it.
The cases are right here.
No, I'm talking about the actual lawsuit.
But the first one don't have to hold on to it after 30 days once you let them go, Mayor. I still get plenty of email.
You know, do you realize that you really don't include me in the emails? Maybe you
I
don't
do
realize
include you.
that.
I'm pulling up right
Okay,
now. So
no, because we're, no, because I'm going to call for a motion to adjourn this meeting so that we can move forward to the board.
Yes, one more thing. The only thing I'm saying is, when we made the motion to add that vendor onto the accounts payable, you were in agreement, and so was the village administrator. Trustee Johnson asked, do we have the money to pay them twice? And the administrator said yes. My question is, if we didn't have the proper paperwork then, why wasn't that discussed then, so we wouldn't have had to change, add a vendor on, then change the actual accounts payable amount in order to pay that vendor? Why wasn't that explained by either yourself or the administrator?
I don't know why.
Because this is what's causing the confusion.
I don't, and I'm sorry for the confusion.
And it's not a confusion, Trustee Burns, because they have descriptions of that we sent in. And the only reason they're doing that is because our interim village administrator is attached to one of these cases who can verify that Delgado already did that.
In favor of adjourning this meeting.
They got 3 zip files on it, girl.
I only have 2 ayes. Any nays? You have to vote yes or no.
What do we vote on?
To adjourn.
That was good. We can still talking.
To adjourn.
Talking is when we acknowledge the talk. We just grab a mic and talk. Yeah.
Okay, hey. Babe. No, we're not going home. We have another meeting. So, I'm asking, you don't have to take a vote, just by common consent. May we have a motion, we have a motion on the floor in a second. All in favor, yea or nay? It's been moved and seconded. Let's take a 2-minute break. Not 5. 2-minute break. Okay? Please stay. Please stay. This is... She let me know, and that's how come I just made this special appeal before that meeting was over. And 10 minutes gonna make a difference? Oh, you're leaving too? You're leaving? Trustee Jones, are you leaving? You have Ms. Jones? Are you leaving too, sir? I'm sorry? We have a board meeting. I'm sorry? Say that again?
What do you think happened when that happened? Move this court into default coverage. Their representatives in Sauk in the amount of $5.87 million. Because he already knew. I told him on the finance. They got no right to say that.
We would like to call the meeting back to order. It's been more than 2 minutes. Okay, I had asked that we take a 2-minute break before going into the special board meeting, and it has been more than the 2 minutes, and from just looking, we lack a quorum, so the special board meeting will not take place.
So she goes her 2 minutes.
But she's not in the room, and we said 2 minutes, and it's more than 2 minutes, sir. Okay? But I thank you for that observation. I observed that too. She said she wasn't serving, and then she walked away. One moment, I'm sorry. I won't declare a state of emergency. Do you see her out there, sir? Because she kept straight. The restrooms are either to your left here or out this way. So I'm not certain. Mr. Fields, do you know where your significant other is? Sir, I asked a question. You're ignoring me. Okay, let's move forward. This meeting will not take place.
Me too. That gives me time to,